This is the final video for topic 6. Topic 6 was looking at how to assume alternative behavioral responses to reforms. As we've learned in prior videos, the model by default, if you don't tell it otherwise, assumes that tax filers do not react in any way. They don't change their behavior in response to a tax reform. So what we're looking into here is how we can explore what the implications of tax filers responding to the reform. So we've set up a reform which caps the lifestyle relief amount at 1,000 ringgit beginning in 2022. And in the prior video, we ran a static or no response analysis of that reform. That was using this command. What we're going to do is use the response option and compare the output with and without the response. So let's go to the command prompt, or the Anaconda prompt as it's called on Windows, and here are the JSON files that we have available in the topic 6 directory. We're going to run the model for in 2022. For this reform, we're going to suppress the dump output. We did that before, but I'm just doing it again here to make it all clear what's happening. And then we're going to add the response option. And we're going to say we want to use the response assumptions that are in this JSON file. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard and then paste it in onto the command line. And then I'm going to hit the return key. But before I do that, I want to point out that the no response table output is in this file for 2022, okay? So now we're going to run with response. And we can look at the table files, the two table output files with the, say, the tail command. I suppose we could do that. First of all, the no response table output. Here's where we saw the reform generates 1/3 of a billion extra ringgit per year. And now if we do the same thing, whoops, that's the parameter output file. This is the table output file for when there are responses. Whoops, didn't do that right. Right. Now we see a difference. It's not much, but we do see people's employment income going down. They're responding to the higher tax rates that they're subjected to because they lost some of their deductions, and that means some people have higher tax rates. And so the extra amount of tax revenue that the government generates is slightly smaller. Why? Because people's reported incomes are slightly less given this behavioral response. Now, an easier way to look at this is to use the graphical diff utility, where we can have on the left the no response, and on the right, side by side, we're going to have the response results, so the tables, okay? So watch what happens here. Okay, there we are. So we're looking on the left, as you can see up here, at the static results, no response. And on the right, we are assuming a response. So you see under current law, before the reform, remember these are responses to a reform. So by definition, current law policy results are unchanged. And that's why we don't see any color coding up here in the first set of tables. Now, when we look at the reform, we can see the yellow, we can see the color coding. That means that there's differences, and just the digits that are different are highlighted with the color. So it's all in the second decimal point. It's a pretty small response. In aggregate, though, we can see that there's some response. And so this is another way to look at the differences between two table outputs. Very useful because it most people can graph this, can comprehend this graphical diffing better than the one that just shows you differences on the command line. So that's it. We'll talk in class in topic 7 about where to go from here, but this series of topics and their reading assignments and their videos and the homework assignment, so to speak, have, I hope, given you a solid introduction to how you would use the model to analyze potential reforms in the Malaysian personal income tax. So that's it.